In a past life, Thornlu took care of his fallen comrade's wife and daughter. Lilith Chen fell ill, and he brought water and medicine to her. Lilith Chen cried, and he offered warm comfort. Lilith Chen said that taking care of her child alone is hard, so he became a free babysitter, driving her to and from places. As a wife, I find it difficult just to see him. I couldn't stand it anymore and filed for divorce. But Thornlu said that I couldn't tolerate them, mother and daughter, and was petty and unreasonable. So I drew a cross on the calendar, silently giving myself a divorce countdown. It is also the last chance for Thornlu to turn back. But he didn't cherish it. On the last day of the countdown, he promised to dine with me one last time, but left me alone at the restaurant, going to celebrate Lilith Chen's daughter's birthday. I waited until dark but didn't see him, and on my way home alone, I was targeted by thugs and assaulted to death. When I opened my eyes again, I find myself back at the dinner table on the last day of the countdown. Lilith Chen's daughter, Lin Feifei, is tugging at Thornlu's sleeve, pouting and acting cute. Uncle Lu, you promised to celebrate my birthday with me, right? Today is my birthday. She was on the verge of tears, her large eyes with eyelashes fluttering filled with tears. Thornlu looked indulging, quickly holding Lin Feifei in his arms, then looked at me with a guilty expression. Iris Jiang, can you wait until I come back to eat? Feifei's birthday only comes once a year. I can't miss it. This familiar scene shocks my mind. I am sure I have been reborn. I steadied my emotions and gave a generous, gentle smile. Feifei's birthday is a serious matter. Go ahead, you don't have to worry about me. Thornlu looked at me gratefully, picked up Lin Feifei, and said to Lilith Chen, who was standing very close to him, Lilith, let's go. The way the three of them stood together looked like a warm and happy family of three, and I am the one who is unnecessary. Lilith Chen nodded, then pretended to look at me with a guilty expression. Iris, I'm really sorry for disturbing your dinner. I don't even know how to make it up to you. It was Feifei who insisted on coming. I see through her little tricks all at once, suddenly thinking about how it would be dangerous to go home alone later, and besides, a whole table of dishes has been served. So I can't possibly pay the bill, right? I smiled generously. No problem. Can you help me buy the single, and then drop me home? I turned my gaze to Thornlu beside me. Thornlu, you don't need to come back. Stay and keep her company. I speak with openness and magnanimity. Completely disregarding Thornlu's shocked expression, Lilith Chen slightly pulled at the corner of her lips, a hint of awkwardness mixed with her smile. Okay. I packed all the dishes on the table and got into Thornlu's car. Of course, sitting in the back seat, Lilith Chen held Lin Feifei and habitually sat in the front passenger seat. The atmosphere on the bus was dull and awkward, but I didn't care at all. After getting off the bus, I carried the vegetables and completely forgot about Thornlu. When I got home, I looked at the red cross on the calendar, the sad countdown to my divorce in my previous life. I decisively tore that page off. True letting go is not about creating a countdown to divorce to inspire oneself, but about returning the pain someone has given you without losing a bit. Thornlu returned home already late at night. The sound of the door opening woke me up. He walked to my bedside, speaking with guilt. Iris, let's have dinner another day. I will keep my promise to you. I lie with my back to him, deliberately not looking at him, smile bitterly in my heart. In the previous life, he said the same when he promised me. My voice was flat. It's okay whether you eat or not. Thornlu beside me swallowed and, after a brief choke, carefully tentatively opened his mouth. Iris, are you angry with me? I closed my eyes, my voice without any waves. No. Thornlu stood by the bed, silent for a long time, as if he was pondering my thoughts. After a while, he silently got into bed. The next day, Thornlu actually woke up earlier than me. He is wearing an apron and brings breakfast from the kitchen. As soon as he sees me, his lips turn up, revealing warmth. Good morning. Why not sleep in a bit longer? I already prepared breakfast for you. He unties his apron and happily tells me, I took a day off today. Let's make up for the meal we missed yesterday. I looked at the carefully prepared breakfast, and my heart felt a chill. It's just sandwiches and fried eggs again. Those are all Lilith Chen's favorite foods, and what I like are Chinese-style buns and porridge. Last time, Thornlu personally made sandwiches and fried eggs for Lilith Chen and sent them to her. So I know, I suppressed the last ripple in my heart and didn't even look at Thornloo. Lilith Chen probably hasn't eaten yet. You should send it to her. Since today is your day off, go accompany her. I finished speaking. And before Thornloo could break free from his disappointment, he took the lead and left. Thornloo, I no longer need the concern you show me anymore. After gathering my emotions, I arrived at the workplace, dedicating myself fully to my work. Today is my turn for consultation. Patients come and go one after another. I am so busy I can't find time to breathe. Until the evening, when I was about to finish work, Finhua finally walked in steadily. Dr. Jiang, prescribe medication. He always speaks sparingly. I lifted my eyelids to look at him, with a tall posture, in full military uniform, exuding heroism. Olive skin under the sunset looks more masculine. Does your leg hurt again? I habitually asked him. In the previous life, Finhua often came to my place to get medicine. I am his attending doctor. He responded dullingly, not even looking at me. I nodded and skillfully prepared the prescription for him. In fact, after all the times I've prescribed, it's always the same few medicines, mainly for Finhua's old leg injuries. Finhua picked up the order, stood up, and left in one smooth motion. It was only then that I realized that although he often came to my place to get medication, our communication was limited to those 2 sentences just now. We have never had any extra conversations. I even only had a rough understanding of him. Even though we all live in the same military region compound, proud, mysterious, cold, these are the impressions the entire military region has of him. He comes from a humble background and became the youngest officer in the military region. Relying on scars from brutal fights, numerous people want to befriend him, but he is like an unmelting iceberg, often keeping others at a distance. The only time I see him smile is when he is walking shoulder to shoulder with his wife. People in the military area say that they look very much like a couple and are a perfect match. Unfortunately, last year his wife passed away due to an illness. Since then, Finhua, who was already introverted, has become even more silent and reserved. Over time, Finhua was completely marginalized by the people in the military district. No matter where he went, it seemed like a dark cloud always hung over his head, making the atmosphere become dull and oppressive. So people became even more distant from him. If that's the case, I smiled faintly. As his primary doctor, I care more about his condition, but not excessively, right? Since Thornloo is willing to take care of his friend's wife and daughter who have passed away, I can also look after his comrade-in-arms who lost his wife. According to Thornloo, helping them more is the right thing to do. Finhua usually comes once a week to get his medication. When he came back a week later, I made an excuse to keep him in the office. Captain Hua, sorry, your medication is out of stock at the pharmacy and can't be dispensed now. I told a little lie. And Finhua was quickly taken in. Then what should we do? He furrowed his brows slightly, but his dark, bright eyes remained calm and untroubled. I bit my lip, forcing myself to stay calm and not show any signs of vulnerability, because I always have a faint feeling that Finhua's eyes are sharp and keen, as if he could see through me at any moment. Does your pain hurt badly, or should we wait a bit longer? To be more like someone else, I deliberately used a feigned retreat to lure them in. Finhua remained calm. Yeah, it hurts a lot. I immediately looked embarrassed. Oh no, this is going to be difficult. Perhaps I should wait for the medicine to arrive, then I can personally give you. I want to find out Finhua's home address through this. But before I could finish saying send 2 words, Finhua interrupted me. I'll give you my home address. He took out a piece of paper and a pen directly from his pocket and quickly wrote down his address on it. Dr. Jiang, I'll wait for you. After saying that, he got up and left, still acting swiftly. I sat on the chair holding his address, lost in thought for a long time. No, is it really going that smoothly? It smoothly made me feel that I was the one being tricked, not him. Finhua just left, and Thornloo arrived right after. He told me for the first time in a rare and surprising way. Iris, sorry, my breakfast might not suit your taste. I will make it up to you properly. The car is downstairs. I'll take you to the state-run restaurant, and we'll make up for that meal. He was sincere, with his eyes slightly reddening. I took off my white coat, packed my things, and hardened my heart. There are several medical records to review tonight. I'm not going anymore. I crossed him and went out directly. Thornloo stubbornly followed behind me, walking down the stairs with me. As soon as I stepped out, I saw Thornloo's car. He was indeed waiting for me, but there are others in the car. Lilith Chen is holding Lin Feifei and sitting in the front passenger seat. Seeing me come out, Lilith Chen pretended to be polite as she pushed open the car door and came out. Iris, sorry, I ended up being the third wheel again. Thorn said it's okay to bring me along, the more the merrier. Lilith Chen looked at me with a somewhat proud and arrogant expression. I curled my lips slightly, ignored Lilith Chen, and turned directly to look at Thornloo. Go eat with them, very lively. I'll ride my bike back by myself. I walk toward the carport, ready to ride my 2-8 big bike home, but Lilith Chen grabbed me abruptly. Her eyes are red, looking pitiful and like a little white rabbit. Iris, do you dislike me? If that's the case, I won't go then. Feifei and I can walk home, and you and Thorn can go calmly to eat. After saying that, she turned her head away and wiped her tears. Quite clearly, I seemed unable to accept her. I was almost amused by her acting. But Thornloo kept falling for the same tricks as in previous lives. Lilith, don't say that. No one hates you. The look of concern in his eyes is something I have never seen before. The next moment, he turned and looked at me with a stern gaze. Iris Jiang, do you really want to be so harsh? Go have dinner with us. Is it really that difficult? He indeed shifted all the blame onto me. I was about to speak to defend myself when another car stopped right next to us. The car window rolled down, revealing Fin Hua's strikingly heroic face that looked carved in stone. Dr. Jiang, I'm out of the pain medication for my leg. Is there any medicine for heartbreak? The atmosphere fell into stifling silence. I shook off Thornloo's hand that was grabbing my arm and walked straight to Fin Hua's car. I still have patience. I'll leave first. Open the car door. I got into the passenger seat. Fin Hua stomped on the accelerator, and I smoothly pulled away from Thornloo. In the rearview mirror, I could even see Thornloo's angry eyes. Thorn, what's wrong? Lilith Chen, standing beside him, looked at him staring at the back of the car with an unchanging gaze, and shook his arm. Thornloo composed himself, shook his head. It's nothing. Let's go, Lilith. We're going to have a meal. Just before getting in the car, Thornloo glanced again in the direction of the departing car, frowning involuntarily. Iris Jiang Mingming is a surgeon. How could she possibly be happy about painful medicine? I also thought of this question, but it was after getting into the car. At that time, I was only concerned with getting away, and I didn't notice anything wrong with Fin Hua's words. The air inside the car was oppressive, as if I could hear even the sound of breathing. I hesitated but forced myself to speak first. Thank you just now. In return, my words hadn't been finished when Fin Hua interrupted. Then I'll trouble Dr. Jiang. Come to my house to deliver the medicine. He turned his head to look at me, and his gaze was sincerely bright. I nodded, hiding my guilty look in my eyes. Okay, of course. Then quickly shift your gaze to the outside of the window. The scenery outside the window quickly falls behind the car, and I glance at Fin Hua's foot on the accelerator. Why does it feel like his leg doesn't hurt that badly? Fin Hua took me back home. After thanking him, I went upstairs. This time, Thornloo was actually waiting for me at home and didn't go to have dinner with Lilith Chen. As I entered the door, Thornloo's expression changed slightly. He walked to the window, looked at Fin Hua driving away, and his eyes darkened a bit. When did Fin Hua develop a heartache problem? He frowned slightly, with a somewhat displeased tone. I remained silent. He continued, aren't you a surgeon? Why are you dealing with heart issues? He's a bit anxious. I directly skipped over his question and looked at him indifferently. Didn't you go to dinner with Lilith Chen? Why did you come back so quickly? I still thought he would take care of Lilith Chen until midnight, just like usual. Thornloo was momentarily stunned. Originally, he was dining with Lilith Chen and Lin Feifei, but he was distracted throughout the meal. All he could think about was Fin Hua's words. Dr. Jiang, do you have any medicine for heartache? I don't know why, but suddenly I felt a terrible palpitations, even restless. After just a few bites, he lied that he had urgent matters and went home ahead of time. This was the first time he had left Lilith Chen and her daughter alone. He straightened his posture and looked at me with anxious eyes. Iris, I think you should keep some distance from Fin Hua. He hadn't finished speaking when I interrupted him. He is my patient. Moreover, his wife passed away last year, he is now single and suffering from illnesses, quite pitiful, I should take more care of him, isn't this what you told me? I raised my eyes, looking calmly at Thornloo. When Lilith Chen's husband passed away, Thornloo told me exactly like this. Now, I'm just walking the same path as he did, why is he still so anxious? The next day was the weekend. I left the house early to deliver medicine to Fin Hua. Thornloo also received a call from Lilith Chen first thing in the morning. She said Lin Feifei was being noisy and insisted that Uncle Lu accompany her to the park. I know her tricks. Last night, Thornloo left her behind and went straight home to find me. She naturally wasn't happy about it. To my surprise, Thornloo actually refused. Lilith, I'm really sorry. Can we do it another day? I have something important today. When I was putting on my shoes at the door, I overheard Thornloo say this. In the meantime, he also glanced at me. On the other end of the landline, Lilith Chen's voice was obviously tearful. Thorn, did something happen yesterday that made Iris unhappy? It's okay, you stay with her. I'll take good care of Feifei so she won't bother you too. But just as the words finished, Lin Feifei on the other end of the phone started crying and making a fuss at the right moment. No, I want Uncle Lu to be with me. Woo-woo, is Uncle Lu not going to see Feifei anymore? He promised Dad that he would take good care of us. From now on, I will keep myself locked inside. When I closed the door, I also saw Thornloo's confused expression. After all, he still can't let go of Lilith Chen and her daughter. But none of this has anything to do with me anymore. I am holding the medicine and came to his house according to the address Fin Hua gave. It is surprisingly a detached house, among the entire military region. It's one of the few. I knocked on the door, and Fin Hua opened it very quickly. As soon as he saw me, the normally relaxed furrow in his brow instantly creased, showing an expression of pain. The medicine is here. I nodded. Yes, it's here. I took the medicine out of my bag and handed it to him. He also didn't say a word, directly opened the package, took out 2 slices, and threw them into his mouth. Looks like it hurts quite badly. I also couldn't help but furrow my brows in response. Fin Hua's old injury seems to be quite serious. Perhaps it was never properly treated initially. Leaving behind a sequela, he took the medicine and looked at me with gentle eyes. I was standing outside the door. He was inside, but neither of us moved, frozen in place. Dr. Jiang, can you help me up? He suddenly stretched out his arms, asking me for help. I froze for a moment. The door opening just now was pretty quick too, but since he brought it up, I can't refuse harshly. Okay. I responded with a sound and then walked over, allowing Fin Hua to place his hand on my shoulder. His height of over 1.8 meters pressed on my shoulder. The strength was neither light nor heavy, but being so close made me feel somewhat ambiguous. My cheeks couldn't help but blush slightly. Fin Hua suddenly said with a smile, Dr. Jiang, don't be nervous. My breath caught, and my face and ears instantly felt hot. I quickly helped him to the sofa, then stood up and said, remember to take your medicine on time. I've also brought the medicine, so I'll be leaving now. After speaking, I hurriedly opened the door and rushed out. I didn't expect to run into Thornloo, who had just been chasing after me. At the door, when I came out of Fin Hua's house, Thornloo's face darkened. Thornloo, why are you here? I thought he would go accompany Lilith Chen. Thornloo rushed over and grabbed my hand. Come home with me. His tone was stern, domineering, leaving no room for refusal. I opened my mouth to say something, but then I heard Fin Hua inside the door behind me, crying helplessly, Dr. Jiang, it hurts so much. As a doctor, I almost instinctively want to turn around. Thornloo but doesn't allow it. Let's go, don't mind him. Thornloo was angry, his eyes full of hostility as he looked towards the Hua family gate. I was hesitating when I heard Fin Hua shouting even louder inside the door, Dr. Jiang. The next moment, he actually crawled out of the door. Beads of sweat dripping down his forehead. I hesitated for a moment, then forcibly jerked my hand away from Thornloo. No, I can't just stand by and do nothing. I dropped these 2 words and rushed toward Fin Hua. I grabbed him steady. Are you okay? I'll check it for you. I then rolled up Fin Hua's pant leg. Fin Hua was in pain, tightly gripping my hand, with a pitiful and miserable look in his eyes. Dr. Jiang, it hurts. Only you can help me now. Dr. Jiang, it's so cold and hard here. Can you help me to the sofa? He spoke with a begging tone. his eyes moist, looking at me with a somewhat pitiful expression. My heart softened. Even the tough and resolute man has vulnerable moments. I nodded and reluctantly helped him up, still in the same posture as before, but this time, Finhua held him more tightly. I didn't care, teeth gritted. I helped Finhua onto the sofa, then quickly rolled up his pant leg. When a series of ferocious scars entered my sight, I couldn't help but stop. For some reason, my eyes suddenly felt a little sore. Is this what a battle hero's legs look like? I checked Finhua repeatedly and didn't find any major issues. Finhua is still crying out in pain. Thornlu, standing at the door watching the whole process, looked angrier than ever. Finhua, your acting is pretty convincing. His malicious expression shocked me. I turned my head and looked at him with a blameful look. Thornlu, he is a patient. Do you need to be so harsh when you speak? Thornlu was about to retort but was interrupted by Finhua's words. Captain Lu, don't be upset with Dr. Jiang, it's all my fault, taking up the time you and your wife spend together. But, I am truly in pain and can't take it anymore. His eyes looked sorrowful and pitiful. Considering that I was wounded for the country, can Dr. Jiang take a look at me? Okay, I was checking on him while secretly pondering in my mind, isn't Finhua's words quite few? Why are you talking so much today? What's going on with that strong Lilith Chen vibe? However, this idea only stayed in my mind for a moment. I still focused on checking Finhua. After a while, I stood up. I suppose it's a recurrence of the old wound. Still stick to taking medicine. And don't stop at all. I lowered Finhua's trouser cuffs and carefully advised him. Finhua obediently nodded. Can we go home now? At the door, Thornlu urged in a cold voice. Although I was unwilling, the medicine has been delivered after all, so I should leave now. But the next second, Finhua suddenly grabbed my arm. Dr. Jiang, can you cook? I'm very hungry. Since I started living alone, I haven't had a decent meal. They say that taking medicine on an empty stomach can damage your stomach. He looked at me with that pleading look. I was stunned for a moment. Don't say it. Finhua is really unlucky too. Well, okay then, I just agreed, but Thornlu spoke up again. Stop pretending. Isn't there a cafeteria? Why don't you go? He glared at Finhua as if he wanted to eat him. Finhua looked at his own leg and casually said to Thornlu, can't see that you're unwell. On the way back, Thornlu's face looked very unpleasant. Halfway through driving, he finally couldn't hold back and spoke. That Finhua deliberately left you behind. Can't you see? He frowned. I looked at him indifferently with a side glance. Lilith Chen also deliberately left you there. Can't you see that? Thornlu was instantly choked speechless by me. Silent all the way, the atmosphere was extremely tense. The car drove to the bottom of the building. Far away, two thin figures, a large one and a small one, were swaying in the cool night breeze. It is Lilith Chen and Lin Feifei. As soon as Lilith Chen saw Thornlu's car, she immediately ran over with tears in her eyes. Thorn, you finally came back. Feifei is sick, running a high fever. Please help me take a look. I really don't know what to do, she cried while pressing Feifei's forehead close to Thornlu. Thorn raised his hand and touched it, and his eyes immediately became tense. It's so hot. Hurry up and get in the car. I'll take you to the hospital. He directly left me behind and got into the car carrying Lin Feifei. Lilith Chen also quickly got into the front passenger seat. When passing by me, she whispered a sentence that only I could hear. Thornlu is mine. Iris Jiang. Don't even think about fighting me for him. I slightly pulled at the corner of my mouth and couldn't help but laugh. Don't worry. This trash belongs to no one but you. Keep it well. After speaking, I turned and went upstairs without looking back. I was sleeping until midnight, but Thornlu still hadn't come back. But the phone rang first. And it was actually Finhua calling. How do you know my home phone number? I couldn't help but be amazed at Finhua's skill, but he only cared about the pain. Dr. Jiang, can you bring some painkillers? I am really in a lot of pain. I will have a driver pick you up. I looked at the dark sky outside, about to refuse, when Finhua hung up the phone. After a few minutes, Finhua's car honked downstairs. After much deliberation, I still dressed neatly and went downstairs. The driver sped like a flying arrow and took me to Finhua's house. As soon as the door opened, Finhua's tall figure was like a wall, blocking the door tightly. But in the next second, the wall was about to fall down. I instinctively went to support him. Finhua, Finhua's head was leaning on my shoulder, his tone weak. Dr. Jiang, I feel like I'm about to die. I could feel his forehead boiling hot. I reached out and touched, immediately. So hot. Finhua, what did you do? I asked him sternly. He tiredly lifted his eyelids. It's so painful. I took a lot of painkillers. While he was talking, I also caught a glimpse of the empty paper bag on the coffee table, a whole box of painkillers. Did he take them all? I furrowed my brows and called the driver behind me. Come over and help me. Support him to lie down. It's too late to go to the hospital. We must induce vomiting immediately. The driver didn't dare delay, and quickly came over with me to lift Finhua onto the bed with our combined efforts. I gave him plenty of water to drink, then induced vomiting. Finhua's face turned pale. Luckily, the person has gotten out of danger. After I briefly cooled him down physically, his fever gradually subsided. It was just that this fuss kept me busy until dawn. When Thornloo got home, I realized I wasn't there. When I got home the next evening, Thornloo had been waiting for me all day. His eye sockets were sunken, and his face was weathered, as if he had aged much more. When he saw me, tears shimmered in his eyes. Iris Jiang, tell the truth. You no longer love me, do you? His voice trembled slightly, and the whole person seemed to be shattered with just a gentle touch. I hesitated, wanting to speak honestly, but I also felt it was a bit cruel. But my silent response is also a kind of reply. Thornloo suddenly understood. He blinked, and tears suddenly rolled down. Iris Jiang, do you know you're married? I just smiled sardonically. Oh, so you knew too, when he went to Lilith Chen's house back then. Why didn't he think that he was also married? Thornloo was completely unaware of his own problem. His gaze turned cold. Iris Jiang, let's get a divorce. It's finally his turn to bring it up with me. I opened my mouth, about to agree to him, but saw him stand up and draw a cross on the calendar with a pen. Iris Jiang, I'll give you one more chance. If you haven't changed your mind by then, I will really leave you. This time, it's his turn to handle that humorous divorce countdown. I can't help but feel a touch of melancholy. What about Lilith Chen? I am curious. How will Thornloo handle her? Thornloo's face turned cold, with no warmth in his eyes. I have arranged for someone else to take care of them. From now on, her matters have nothing to do with me. Upon hearing his indifference and resolute words, I couldn't help but sneer. Why wasn't he so determined in the past life? Indeed. What you can't have is always stirring, but once it's confirmed you can get it. Even the red dot of cinnabar turns into mosquito blood. Thornloo's divorce countdown is 5 days. In these 5 days, I have either been working or taking care of Finhua. I originally didn't want it to be like this. But as soon as I finished work, Finhua's driver would be waiting at the hospital entrance. Then he would stick his head out of the back car window, with a fragile and pitiful look in his eyes. Dr. Jiang, the dishes you made are really delicious, very much like my sister's taste. Can you make it for me again? As soon as I show a little embarrassment, Finhua seems to be able to cry. As I expected, it was my wishful thinking. He seems like he's about to shatter any second now. Then he started muttering to himself. Dr. Jiang, you might not know this. I have no parents since I was young. It was my sister who begged for food to raise me, even before he could continue. I felt so overwhelmed I couldn't breathe. Okay, I promise you, stop talking. Then, in the next second, he immediately showed a pure smile. Thank you, Dr. Jiang, you are really a good person. So, under the guise of being a good person, I was entangled by Finhua for 5 days. By the time I finally pulled away and went home, Thornloo had already left. There is a divorce agreement on the table, along with a note he left behind. Iris Jiang, I am on a secret mission in the Gobi Desert. If you regret it, come find me in the Gobi. I will wait for you forever. He regrets waiting for me. I tugged at the corner of my mouth. That is an impossible thing. I picked up the pen and signed the divorce agreement without hesitation. Thornloo, I'm different from you. I won't hesitate. Finhua didn't know where he heard the news of my divorce. From that day on, he became even more aggressive, and I gradually realized that Finhua's injury was unusual. For example, several times I watched him upstairs running swiftly, but as soon as he saw me, he became lame. Another example. He won't be hungry if I don't leave, but as soon as I go, he starts crying for food and pretending to be pitiful to ask me to cook for him. Furthermore, he clearly has bodyguards. but after I appeared, they vanished into thin air. In short, he seems to be doing his best to establish a pitiful, helpless image of me, but I have no evidence. To get evidence of Finhua faking illness, I deliberately invited him to go on a countryside trip during the holiday. Finhua agreed without hesitation. At first, Finhua was limping and half dragging the driver to drive us to the countryside. Even during the whole trip, I still had trouble walking. It wasn't until I accidentally fell into the river that Finhua finally revealed himself. I saw with my own eyes him rushing into the water confidently, then pulling me up out of the water, pretending not to know how to swim. "Iris, how are you? It's okay, we'll be ashore soon." He was hugging me. The armor green shirt on his body was soaked by the river water and stuck tightly to his sturdy chest muscles. I was lying in his arms, unable to help but blush. Somehow, I couldn't dare to look directly at him. "Finhua, you lied to me. There's nothing wrong with your legs at all." He was stunned upon hearing this, fell silent for a few seconds, then spoke with a smile. "So you were testing me." The performance was pretty good. When I heard it, I remembered the plays he had performed for me during this time, and I couldn't help but feel a bit annoyed. I struggled hard to break free from his embrace. "You're the one acting. Finhua, tell me, what is your real purpose in approaching me?" I stared up at him with my eyes wide open, completely overshadowed by his tall figure. He lowered his gaze, his deep eyes looking at me intently. "Iris, because I love you." I only realized later that in the previous life, Finhua was already getting close to me. Every time I take medicine, it's to see me again. His old wound has never relapsed. He led me to his house, opened the cabinet, and when the accumulated medicines from previous years tumbled out of the cabinet with a clattering, my heart also trembled violently. "Is that medicine? These are the proof of Finhua's love for me over the years. Since you came to see me, why didn't you say a few more words to me?" Finhua pursed his lips and gave a shallow smile, his voice and demeanor returning to his usual composed appearance. "Because at that time, you had already married Thornlu." I suddenly realized that all my interactions with Finhua were part of a carefully woven web he had spun. He knows about Lilith Chen. I knew that giving him medicine was my deliberate doing. Everything he is doing is him falling into our trap. I dabbed at the dampness at the corner of my eye and deliberately asked him sarcastically, "And what about your deceased wife? Don't you love her?" After these days of getting along, I honestly don't believe Finhua is such a capricious person. His wife just passed away a year ago, and has already fallen in love with someone else. Finhua's eyes darkened when he heard this. "When have I ever had a wife? Only a sister who relies on me for life." "What, are people in the military district saying she is my wife?" I suddenly realized. "So this is what you call a married couple look alike." I tightly hugged Finhua, tears welling up in my eyes. Suddenly, I saw different qualities in this man. Thornlu is indifferent and capricious. Finhua, however, has been consistent all along. In the days that followed, Finhua told me about the scene of our first meeting. At that time, Finhua was still living in the countryside begging with his sister. One year, when I went to visit family in the countryside, I ran into Finhua. He squats by the small path, holding a small broken bowl in his hand. When he encounters pedestrians, he stretches out his tiny arms, looking pitifully, although I am younger than him. I have been living in the military compound since I was a child, and life is well off. I desperately shake my father's hand, begging him to let the driver park. When the car stopped, I hurriedly ran towards Finhua with all the pocket money my mom gave me. "Little brother, this is for you." I was very generous at that time, giving him all my pocket money in one go. That year was 1973, I was 8 years old, and I gave him 3 yuan. In that era, Finhua had never seen so much money before. Later, Finhua smiled and said to me, "If it weren't for these 3 yuan, my sister and I would have starved to death that winter." Later, I grew up a bit and relied on joining the army to create my own world. Finally, I was able to provide a good life for my sister, became the youngest officer in the military district. "It's a pity, sister." As he said this, his eyes misted over, and then he held me tightly. "Iris, do you know, over these years, I've been looking for you." It was only then that I remembered the look in Finhua's eyes when he first appeared in my office many years ago, shocked, delighted, and full of longing. But by then, I had already erased him completely from my memory. Thinking of this, I gently reached out and hooked my hand around Fin Hua's neck. Fin Hua, I will never forget you again. Thorn Lu went to the Gobi and then never received my regretful message. He finally couldn't hold back anymore. After completing task 1, he hurried back. Unfortunately, what he received was the news of my marriage to Fin Hua. On the day of the wedding, Thorn Lu stood at the entrance of the restaurant, looking haggard. It wasn't until Fin Hua and I came out to see off the guests that I noticed him. I pretended not to notice his eager longing in his gaze. Holding hands with Fin Hua, accepting the parting blessings from the guests, I no longer want to recall the things of the past. It was also from friends that I learned Thorn Lu still hasn't shaken off Lilith Chen's entanglement. Lilith Chen said that if Thorn Lu doesn't marry her, she will cause trouble with the authorities. After all these years, everyone has already seen the relationship between Thorn Lu and Lilith Chen. Thorn Lu couldn't bear the pressure, and in the end, he surrendered. After marrying Lilith Chen, I would occasionally meet him in the military compound. His gaze no longer carried the youthful spirit of ambition. Instead, it was filled with regret and exhaustion. Several times he wanted to speak to me, but I was the one who took the lead and ignored him. It's better to remain strangers. Right now, in my heart, eyes, and mind, there's only Fin Hua, and Fin Hua feels the same as I do.